Birds of Prey. Why is it so boring? Let's get into this.
This is Batman. You're watching Kyle Reviewed.
So, Birds of Prey came out, and I just went to see it last night, and it was just a bit boring. Now, I also rewatched the Suicide Squad movie from 2016, the night before watching it, and that movie was bad too. Now, which one is worse? Story-wise, I would say the Suicide Squad movie was worse. The CGI in there and the story was just kind of boring and not really interesting. But especially the ending of it. But the movie leading up to it was kind of fun. It was kind of cool seeing the interactions. I like the relationship interactions between Harley Quinn and Will Smith's Deadshot. That was really cool. And all the Suicide Squad as a team, that was really cool. The ending there was just kind of atrocious and kind of, the CGI was just terrible. And that threw everything off because the villain was just bad. And, Joker, just not enough of Joker to really give a full taste of it. And we only got parts of it, and not really probably the parts that Jared Leto would like of us to get of his Joker from that movie. So that movie is just kind of. But when it comes to rewatching either of these movies, part of me kind of wants to go I'd rather rewatch Suicide Squad than Birds of Prey. Now here's why. Birds of Prey is a good movie, good consistent movie, but it's just boring and, didn't really fall asleep through it, but I feel like I could, it'd be one of those movies I'm much more likely to fall asleep through the Birds of Prey movie earlier on, whereas I feel like the Suicide Squad movie is, I'm going to fall asleep as soon as once they get to the ending, once they get closer to the ending and stuff. And I'll be kind of interested through most of the movie, and then once it gets towards the ending where they start meeting up with the villain and dealing with Enchantress a bit more, then I'm just going to be like, okay, I'm tuning out and I'm falling asleep. Whereas Birds of Prey, I feel like it's just a bit more boring of a movie now that I've seen it, So it's just not a rewatch value for either one of those for me. But it's also feel like the reason why Birds of Prey is doing so poorly at the box office, only doing $31 million so far at the box office. And we still this is the beginning of Sunday as I'm filming this, so they still have all day today to make another little bit, but, they're going to make a couple of million, nothing too much. Not hitting the minimum prediction that they had of $45 million opening weekend. So they're not going to hit that, so that's going to be slightly a failure, performing under projected for this weekend, when the Suicide Squad, I think it made over $130 million in the first weekend on a budget of $175. So a bit more of their budget in the opening weekend, even over half for Suicide Squad, whereas Birds of Prey here, $31 million so far on an $84 million budget, so not quite half at all there. So that is going to be quite disappointing there. It's going to be interesting to see as to where things go, because we do have Harley Quinn confirmed to be returning in the Suicide Squad sequel / reboot, whatever James Gunn ends up making it into. We'll have to wait and see as to where things kind of go with that. But one of the big things that I've missed from the Birds of Prey that they missed from Suicide Squad that I wish I'd translated over was the Harley Quinn. It just feels like a muted version of that Harley Quinn from the Suicide Squad. And I prefer this Harley Quinn from the Suicide Squad rather than this Harley Quinn here. And yes, Margot Robbie did an amazing job, and her acting was just on point, and I love her as Harley Quinn. It's just the version in Suicide Squad to me was a bit more interesting, a bit more what made the character so popular at this point. If you look at the animated Harley Quinn, now I've only watched like 1 or 2 episodes of that. When you look at the animated Harley Quinn starring Kaylee Cuoco on the DC Universe app, that character fits a lot more aligned with the character from Suicide Squad rather than the character from Birds of Prey. And of course, they probably didn't have access to the movie to copy that or make that look there, but it is way more interesting there how she's a bit more, I hate to say the word, but she's a bit more sexual, a bit more leaning into that. And this is the difference here. And I hate to say it, but I think the difference between the Suicide Squad and the stuff that to me that made a difference was the fact that Suicide Squad was clearly directed by a dude, and Birds of Prey was directed by a female. Now, that didn't change it too much. It's just the kind of tone of it. Yes, Harley Quinn in the Suicide Squad is leaning a bit more into the, she's constantly kind of, trying to seduce the guards at Belle Reve, She's trying to seduce, Deadshot throughout the movie, all of the different characters. She's always trying to, in that, that kind of sexiness vibe and all that stuff. Whereas here in Birds of Prey, in my opinion, that was kind of lost there. Even though at the beginning of the movie, in the opening, they do tease, that she is slightly, she has had relationships with the female. With a female before, and they tease that very quickly. It's a blink and you miss it moment. It's a forgettable thing. You don't see it. One of the big things that they should have done with this movie is lean deeper into the rated R for the Birds of Prey. That's one thing that the Harley Quinn show on the Disney Plus, on the DC Universe app has leaned into, and it's why it's been so so much. This response to it has been so critically acclaimed and stuff so far. So it is pretty going to be quite interesting to see as to kind of where things go. And what they should have done with the rated R is kind of, like I said, lean into it the way Deadpool kind of did to it, and not quite necessarily copying it. And they try to do it a little bit here, but they just turn it down instead of turning it up. They go, oh, let's do rated R, but let's turn it down. So it's a rated R, but just barely a rated R, because this movie, there was nothing in there that I wouldn't show to like a 10-year-old or anything like that. There's not much in there. They do say the F word a couple of times. There's a couple of shots that might be a little bit, but there's nothing that, implies something gruesome. And there's maybe a couple of quick, explosions that could be gruesome, but that's about it. There's nothing much in here. And I think actually in my theater was rated 14 and up. And so I think that's about right there. It's really not that bad. Maybe even a 13-year-old, 12-year-old should be fine. There's nothing super duper bad about that. And that's something that they should have leaned in. If you're going to go with a rated R, lean into it. The way Logan did, the way Deadpool did, go full on out. You don't have to be super gory and violent, because that just doesn't fit this kind of story and stuff as much as it does for Wolverine and X-23, who have these kind of sharp claws that are chopping up stuff. You don't have to have them do that, but have Harley Quinn, she beats a thug, and then you really see the blood going, she hits someone in a baseball bat, and you show us a little bit of the blood coming off, the actual violence from there. Whereas some of the fighting scenes and the fight scenes seem like they could have fitted in a PG-13 movie, and all they had to do is easily go over a lot of the F words, take them all out, and just replace them with frick, like they did for the trailer. I'm Harley freaking Quinn, and then just kind of, it could have been a PG-13 movie. So, this didn't deserve the rated R title that it did. It didn't hype it up as a rated R. That's something that, these comic book movies have been so successful with this rated R. They should have put that more into the marketing by having a red band trailer. But there's nothing in here to warrant a red band trailer. So that's why they didn't do it. So they should have done that. They should have leaned more into that, into the harder stuff, and dealing with the more rated R subjects that you couldn't do in a PG-13 movie. So that's what they should have done here. That's my opinion as to what they should have done there, is kind of focus on there, and kind of leaned in a bit more into the Suicide Squad Harley Quinn and that kind of role, and what made Harley Quinn so popular in the current comic books and also in the animated show that's going on currently. Now, the animated show just came out probably at the end of the shooting, so they couldn't really take that into consideration. But there's a reason why the animated show decided to go with that version, and why the Suicide Squad also went with that version. And we'll have to wait and see as to what version we get in the James Gunn Suicide Squad movie coming up. Hopefully it's going to be more along the lines of the Suicide Squad version or the animated show version. It seems like in the end of this movie they do tease the animated shows closer to the animated show's costume, and I think if they go that way, I think that might hopefully allow her to get back into that kind of mindset. At least there. I mean, yes, I could see why she could be, you can make it a reason why she was in this storyline, in this kind of mindset here, especially with her breakup with the Joker in this movie. So I think that could be quite interesting. But now that she's, away from the Joker and she's kind of single now, play into that and have her lean into that. And that's kind of what they did on the animated show. And they could really kind of go into that more, sexier, and kind of just dive into that kind of using her sex appeal as part of her personality a bit more the way it was in Suicide Squad, in my opinion. So let me know what you think, guys, about Birds of Prey. What are you excited for the Suicide Squad movie when Harley Quinn returns? And let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Hi, this is Kevin Conroy, talking to you from the library of Wayne Manor. You may know me as Batman. I just want you to know that you're watching Kyle Reviewed. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.